Welcome everybody, and thanks for joining us for our Conga Alliance Partner Showcase webinar. And the purpose of these webinars is to introduce our customers to the consulting partners that we work with on a regular basis, and to give you the opportunity to get to know a little bit more about their practice and the services that they offer beyond just regular Conga implementations. So we'll learn about the whole suite of what they do and their product offerings. Today we will showcase TechnoMile and Rainmaker. Each presenter will talk for about 15 minutes, and then we'll have 15 minutes at the end to answer any questions. So please hold your questions to the end and submit them through the chat window, and we will address them when everyone concludes. This webinar will be recorded and posted to our website should you care to review or share it with your colleagues. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Sean Kapoor with TechnoMile.
Thank you very much, Allison. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. So welcome everybody for joining our Conga Partner Alliance program. So my name is Sean Kapoor. I work with TechnoMile, and I am the engagement manager, one of them, who's working closely with Conga as one of the premier partners. What we'd like to do today is talk a little bit about our services, some of the implementations we've done in the past, and how we can help you succeed in using Salesforce and Conga. So, if you don't mind, we can go to the next slide. So just to tell you a little bit about ourselves in terms of who we are. So TechnoMile is a premier app and implementation partner with Salesforce in the DC Metro and general East Coast area. Our goal is essentially to make our customers successful. And we do that, and essentially by doing that, and as a result, our goal is to make your clients happy. Okay? Okay? All right, so just a little bit more about us. We're obsessed with customer success. So again, like I said, our goal is to make sure that you have the resources and the tools you need to succeed in your business. Okay? So we've been working with several companies in nearly every vertical for the past 5 years as a premier Salesforce partner. It's not limited to, but does include manufacturing, retail, and professional services. So some of the clients we've worked with in the manufacturing space, you may recognize some of these logos, is Beretta, USA, SR Max, Burger Maker. Within the retail vertical, Kumon, which is the math and reading success school, Guild City, as well as the Amish Country Gazebos. Within the professional services vertical, we've worked with MDA Federal, Amen Associates, as well as Pennsylvania Counseling Services. Okay? All right, so in terms of other industries and verticals we've been involved with, that's also media, communications, and technology. Some of the big names you'll see on here is Vonage, as well as Ameritel and North State Communications. And okay. So in terms of a little bit more about what we do, so we can go on to the next slide. What we do is, again, we offer our Salesforce and Conga implementation services to the East Coast. So we have offices in Washington, New York, Toronto, and Boston. I'm located out of the Toronto office, and our head office is in Washington, DC. Okay. So we've been a silver partner with Salesforce since 2009. We've actually now completed close to 400 plus Salesforce implementations, and really our goal is, again, obsessed with customer success. So making sure that our clients are receiving the support and services that they're looking for, and really have what they need in terms of long-term adoption and success with Salesforce and Conga. Our goal is to put smiles on faces, and we have over 40 employees, 21 of which are Salesforce certified. Okay. So just a little bit more, we also have some apps on the App Exchange. So in addition to being an implementation partner, we do have our own apps that we develop as well. So if you check out TechnoMile on the Salesforce's App Exchange, you'll be able to see that we have a couple of free apps, such as the custom profile images and Pricebook Configurator. But we also do have some paid applications specific to industries such as government contractors. So that app is called FedCapture, and another one for the media industry, which is called AdApprove. So we'll have an opportunity to talk a little bit more about FedCapture today as well. Okay. So now that you know a little bit more about TechnoMile, let's dive into how we use Conga Composer in our government contracting solution, the FedCapture. So FedCapture was released about 2 years ago on the App Exchange, just before Dreamforce 2013. So really the application seamlessly integrates with Conga Composer to produce presentations. So really what the goal is here is what we do is we prepare, as government contractors are working on bids as well as gate reviews, there's a process for them to prepare executive presentations with the click of a button. Okay? So the presentations are designed to be in gate reviews or approval processes. So if there's a group of people who need to determine whether like an RFP or a bid is worth pursuing based on the limited information that's been gathered, there's that button in the top right-hand side that says Create Presentation. So as sales representatives and gate review managers are working on an opportunity, they'll start to enter that information into Salesforce. Once they've entered that information in, they can simply click on that Create Presentation button, and before you know it, within a matter of minutes, a perfectly presented presentation is prepared in PowerPoint format, which can then be shared with the executives and with the rest of the team. So looking at the opportunity page within FedCapture, again, that Create Presentation button is all you need to do in terms of preparing that presentation. So that is a Conga functionality which has been implemented as part of our FedCapture product. So there's also a few other neat things that we do in our product. So as you're preparing the information and adding details to the opportunity, there's that green light in the top right-hand side. So once you click on that Create Presentation, it moves into a green state, and everybody on the team knows where you are in terms of the stage and the gate review process. Okay? So once you click on the button, this is what happens. Conga Composer loads up, and as you can see in the top left-hand screenshot, it'll be gathering the merge options and preparing all of the data, and then you'll be brought to the template selection page, which is the bottom right screenshot. At that point, you can choose between the different templates that we have configured as part of our product, one of them being the Pursue recommendation. So once that's done, the template's there automatically, and you just have to select the template and click on the Merge button, which you can see right beside Email towards the bottom of the bottom right screenshot. Okay, so once you do that, upon selecting the template and clicking on the Merge button, the presentation is automatically created, and there's a few other things that happen automatically too. The PowerPoint, as you can see, is automatically generated and attached to the opportunity under the Pursue recommendation, and it will be appended directly to the opportunity record. That just saves a few steps, and you no longer have to go and save it and go back into Salesforce and attach. That's an automatic process. What we also do is create a task that says that the opportunity has been reviewed, and that task is created automatically and assigned to the appropriate person. Okay. So Conga allows the templates to be customized from client to client, while the underlying functionality requires no modification whatsoever. So here's an example of the template. What we can do is customize each solution to your specific business needs, such as styles, logos, fonts, and color scheme. As you can see, the information from the opportunity is ready to go in an easy to understand format. This means I can prepare my opportunity for a specific, I can prepare my presentation for an opportunity probably in less than 5 or 10 minutes once I have the details in. And then I'm ready to walk into the boardroom and give my awesome presentation to the rest of the group just with the click of a button. Okay? So I just wanted to talk about some alternative use cases that we have implemented using Salesforce and Conga Composer. So quote preparation. So to give you an example, when we worked with North State Telecom, one of the things that they were very interested in doing was having multiple quote contracts available for their team. So what they would do is they would create an opportunity and start to create multiple contracts. Now, as part of those contracts, each one would be specifically tailored for their customer. So they had various checklists on the opportunity, And as they were filling out that information, they can click on merge and essentially choose the contract that's in question. And then before you know it, within a matter of moments, there would be a full printed out contract available that could be sent via EcoSign directly to their customers. So just to explain a little bit more about that use case, so they were, a telecom. What they were doing is providing business-to-business services. So their clients would be interested in signing up for things like Wi-Fi services, phone services, and so on. And again, with so many terms and conditions, they wanted to be able to customize those contracts without having to go into a Word document and customize it every single time. So again, using those checklists, they were able to prepare customized contracts using Conga Composer. One of the other use cases that we've done for one of our clients, this was Beretta, is a dealer summary presentation. So as part of their targets, they had to sell a certain amount of products to each of their dealers. So what they would do is every time they're going to visit one of their dealers, even a half an hour before the presentation, they would go to the account page of the dealer and click on Create Summary Presentation. And what that would do is essentially take all of the sales information for the past 12 months, the most popular purchased products for the past 12 months, as well as all opportunities, and all of that information would be summarized essentially into a PowerPoint presentation. And by doing that, they were able to, without having to review actual Salesforce instance with their dealers, they would be able to prepare a presentation in minutes and be able to show them where they've been placing most of their orders, what the most popular products were, and talk about opportunities for additional orders based on sales information for the past 12 months. Okay. So at that point, I just wanted to say that there are many use cases where you can use Conga Composer. Really, the goal here is productivity and efficiency, and being able to take all the information that you have within Salesforce and quickly and easily being able to format it in a way that meets your business needs, again, has your logos and colors, and being able to make it presentable either for an internal review or for a customer review. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Sean. That was great. We loved seeing your different use cases and also highlighting that ability for the automatic logging. Very nice, so you can actually keep track of everything that's been generated and sent out. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And now we're going to go ahead and introduce Keith Trawick with Rainmaker Associates.
All right. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. My name is Keith Trawick, and I'm with a company called Rainmaker Associates, based also out of Washington, D.C. area. I'm a managing partner responsible for all of our service delivery. Today we're going to be talking a little bit. We tend to take a different approach than a lot of technology consulting firms. We like to focus first on sort of what matters to clients from a value proposition standpoint. And so today I'm going to start by talking first about some of the key issues that we run into in our practice where clients are coming into us and highlighting particular challenges that they've got. I'm then going to talk about the role that we see Conga playing in driving adoption, and then we'll go through a use case and some alternative use cases, etc. So go ahead. Here's a quick agenda. And let's move on. All right, so when we're introduced to organizations, we're an organization that's been involved with Salesforce.com for over 10 years. We were in the first class of Salesforce.com integrators when the project, or when the partner program was first put together. We were one of the first folks to be, or groups to be certified. And so we've seen literally thousands of clients over the course of those 10 years and done multiple thousands of engagements with those clients. And some of the key challenges that we see organizations face where we tend to get engaged and involved is that they have an inability to realize a return on investment in their technology. So they may have made a big investment in Salesforce.com. Oftentimes they say, I can't get my sales reps to use this, or I can't get my customer service representatives to use it, management isn't adopting it, etc. That all of course, is part and parcel with the difficulty to drive adoption. And we've got a particular way of looking at the adoption problem that I'll present to you today, just a sort of a thought framework for you to think about how you might be facing adoption issues, and then I'll talk about where Conga fits in. And then the last thing is that they're looking for ways to reduce business friction, or what we call business friction, which is slowing their time to success. So where are the stopping points? From a sales rep's perspective, it's great that you ask me as a sales rep to enter all this information so that pipeline can be driven, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But my ta-da, right, my exciting moment should be that I'm able to generate the documents that I need to, which are deliverables to somebody else. And that's where adoption really comes into play, and that's where the glue is, which is central to Conga's capabilities. Next slide. So we look at adoption as sort of an equation, if you will, and I've said for 10 years now that adoption is the single easiest equation that you'll ever solve for. Basically, you have consumption of data on one side and you've got production of data on the other side. If the consumers don't consume, or the producers don't produce, then you have adoption issues. We tend to think of consumers as being executives, managers, customers, even dependent colleagues. So there might be a dependency between what the sales reps are doing and what the production or the delivery team needs, right? Those are two sides of that equation. On the other side, we tend to look at producers of data, being reps, administrative staff, subordinates within a particular reporting structure. And where adoption really is made or broken is sort of at the endpoints. It's the point where there's a deliverable that is either able to be or not able to be consumed by the consumer, and the point at which the consumer either does or does not provide feedback to the producer. So where we see Conga having a particularly impactful role in our consulting, in our business consulting practice, and in our technology consulting that we do with our clients, is in bringing it to bear to bring together the consumers and producers of data in a very meaningful, very integrated process that enables everyone to understand the importance of their role within that data sharing scenario. Next slide. So we leverage Conga to drive user adoption on both sides of the adoption cycle. We're leveraging it, as you'll see, as a way to give life to the data that sales reps are being asked to put into the system, and we're using it to deliver that deliverable to the executive, to the customer, whomever, that in turn is driving that data back to the sales rep in the form of an executed order or whatever it may be. It's that entire cycle that creates the sense that accomplishment has been made, and that's what tells the rep, like a Pavlovian response. It tells them, this is worth me doing, right? And it tells the executive, this is worth doing. So let's move on. So from an executive perspective, where do we tend to use Conga to solve the adoption problem? Well, we're able with Conga to develop sophisticated executive deliverables. So when I speak about deliverables, I'm talking about any sort of manifestation of data or information that results in a consumption event, right? So that might be reports, it might be executive summaries, it might be any number of outputs to the process. But in some cases, deliverables don't have to be outputs. It just so happens that Conga is particularly good at taking disparate sources of data that are within Salesforce.com's realm, are not entirely linked in a way that they could be generated otherwise. And the second thing is we couple that those deliverables with business process automation. So approvals are a good example. And what we're doing in that sense is we're tying producer and consumer together in a way that there's a very, very tangible, very understandable, and a sort of fulfilling use case that drives that adoption. And from a staff perspective, what we're trying to do is we're trying to automate the last mile in a business process. It's sort of like if you were only able to plan for your wedding but you didn't get to go, right? There's not a lot of joy in that, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to help the rep do all the preparation that they need to do, but then give them the ability very easily to generate the documents. Same thing with customer service reps, same things with executives. It's that ta-da moment. It's the, so why have I been doing this the whole time? Oh, I don't have to go and do a bunch more work. Next slide. So I want to talk to you briefly about Car Workplaces. Car Workplaces is an organization that we've been working with for years and years, and they're a sort of an innovative office environment provider. You might think of other organizations that do this that have a fairly cookie-cutter offering. Car Workplaces prides themselves on providing very innovative solutions and strategies, very unique office environments in sophisticated office buildings. Our headquarters, for example, is in the Google building in Reston, Virginia. And CAR is not only a client of ours, but we're also a client of theirs, and we've got several of their offices throughout the country. What their challenge had been was that they offer such a unique and complex set of service offerings, not limited to just office space, but also fractional conference time, phone lines, reception handling, mailboxes, catering, and everything in between. Everything that you would need as a growing organization to be able to deliver the quality of service that you need to your customers without having to do everything yourself. And with that level of sophistication and complexity comes the ability to do a lot of a la carte pricing and proposal generation. They've grown a good bit through acquisition and have acquired other companies with other business processes, etc. And one of the challenges that they were really having was getting everybody into a common process, getting adoption of sales management tools to do pipeline management. And ultimately, that we determined that was largely based on the fact that that aha or that ta-da moment, right? The magic in the process was missing. The reps were being asked to do a lot of stuff, enter a lot of stuff, etc., but there wasn't a sense of accomplishment. So we can go to the next slide. What we did was we built out a system within Salesforce.com that enabled them to capture in myriad ways some of the complexities of the proposal that they were going to present, right? What are all those a la carte items? How do they come together? And we put logic in that drove that process. One of the most critical pieces of what was going on there was that center directors, the folks that run those centers, are at the same time operational directors of the center, but also business development folks, sales folks. And they are often put in a situation where they're discussing with a prospective client their standard terms of an agreement, and the client says, well, we would like to, can we modify it like this or that or the other thing? Prior to all of those negotiations happened one-off, and there was always a one-off negotiation between the center director and the client, between the center director and their, and their reporting structure and maybe legal in order to get something approved. What we've done is captured all that information so that the approval happens one time for a given type of term change that might be applied to different types of clients. And then Conga Merge seamlessly automates the process by taking data from disparate sources within Salesforce.com, bringing them together and generating what I'll show you are a number of different documents that really simplify the process for the sales reps. Ultimately, we've integrated with EchoSign so that the process is relatively one button push. And they're able to send the document out, get it electronically signed. It comes back, and similar to the explanation that Sean gave, a number of other things occur in terms of creation of tasks and other automations that can happen within Salesforce.com. Next slide. So as a result, and then we'll look at what we've generated, all of Car Workplace's center directors now create their contracts based on Salesforce data. What does that mean? Well, what it ultimately means is there is no longer a benefit to the sales rep or the sales director to not input that data in the first place into Salesforce.com. There's no payoff, because if they don't input it correctly into Salesforce.com, they can't generate the document. If they can't generate the document, that means they're going to do the document manually. If they do the document manually, they can't get it through the approval process. And so we've essentially sort of created a scenario in which their only option is the best option for them. They've increased contract data integrity, they've dramatically reduced the time required to create executable documents, and they've mitigated the risks of unapproved items terms being proposed. Next slide. So basically we're generating a number of different documents out of this. You can see that their documents are well branded, it's in alignment with the look and feel that they want. And as I said, this data is coming from disparate sources within Salesforce.com. Next slide. We're also then taking the addendums, one or more addendums that have been either selected from pre-approved addendums that have been created previously and approved, or from, they can also, a center director can create a new addendum, say this is the language that they'd like, it goes through an approval process, and it officially becomes part of the library of addendums that can be used. When they generate the document, all of the various addendums that have been created or chosen but have been approved will end up putting themselves into the document. So the document can be 1 to 4 pages depending on how much additional legal language is put in. Next slide. And this is an example of an addendum. But we're also taking data from other places in the system to populate the addendums themselves. So the user doesn't have to be aware of what do I need to check, where do I have to, where do I have to put data, all those types of things. We're just making it seamless. Next slide. So other representative use cases, we've done a lot of work with insurance brokers in automating data capture for insurance forms. We've built a quoting application that's used by a number of technology resellers. Their particular issue in technology resellers is that they represent so many different vendors and sometimes tens of thousands of products that it's particularly difficult for them to manage products and pricing, and most of all to do the types of flexible pricing that they need to be able to do in order to win business. And we automate that entire process, the output of which is an integration with Conga that generates all the documentation that's necessary. And we do a lot of work with professional services providers, other folks that sort of quote-unquote don't sell a thing, right? They're selling something more abstract. Because we're based in the Washington, D.C. area, we've got a lot of those clients, and we've spent our careers there, so we have a lot of those folks, law firms, lobbyists, and government contractors. Next slide. Basically, now that you have a little bit of an understanding of what we've done, just a couple of things you'd want to know. We were founded in 2002 as a sales and marketing business consultancy. We then were recruited by Salesforce.com in 2004 to become a Silver Alliance partner and have maintained that similar to TechnoMile, same certification there over the course of those years. We've been a Conga partner since 2006. We've got a headquarters in Washington, D.C., offices throughout the Southwest, East, and West, and we've got resources up in the Northeast as well. Our primary focuses, of course, are Salesforce.com consulting and implementation, delivery of other cloud services, sales and business consulting. I'm at a client right now doing a management consulting engagement that's going to result in quite a bit of technology process and build-out work. Application development, systems integration, and data management. Next slide. And I'm coming up on the wire here. The things that really make a difference to our clients are our process. Hopefully we've demonstrated here, we're really, the way that we approach a particular conversation is I'm much more interested in understanding why you want to do something and what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish, so that I can determine whether the thing that you're asking me to do for you is, or us to do for you, is the thing that will get you to your goal. Our process of blueprinting and implementation is specifically aligned and we help you to understand throughout the process when you're looking at the investments you're making in the technology. We're helping you to evaluate whether a particular investment in an approach is going to align directly to the accomplishment of your goals. And our experience, having been with Salesforce.com essentially since the beginning of their since the beginning of their partner program, but almost since the beginning of their existence, we've got over 1,100 clients, and we've been with Conga as long as they've been doing what they're doing. We've earned a lot of experience and expertise in the cloud space. Next slide, and I think that might be it. And there's my contact information. If you'd like to reach out, you can certainly go to our website as well. And I didn't cover much about our industries, but we've got all of our industries laid out there: government contracting, technology, products and services, resellers, telco, insurance, professional services, and various others. And you can read about us there. Thank you for your time.
Thanks so much, Keith. That was great. Really, really liked your examples of how Conga fits into the business adoption cycle. And I loved how you said it's kind of that last mile of the business process. So that was great. Also liked how you showed how we integrate with EchoSign. So keep that in mind. We definitely integrate with our electronic signature solutions with DocuSign, EchoSign, and Certify. So thank you, both Sean and Keith, for attending today and presenting. We really appreciate it. Now, thanks everyone for coming. Remember that this webinar will be posted to our website should you care to review or share it with your colleagues. And also, if you decide to get started on your own, please know that we have several resources on our website. You can join us at congamerge.com, and for documentation, Conga University, quick starts, and webinars, you can go to congasphere.com. We also have a lot of videos. And of course, go ahead and pick up the phone and call us whenever you have a question. We're happy to help you out. Please join us December 10th for our next Alliance Partner Showcase webinar. Enjoy your holidays, everyone. Bye-bye.